Will the Kyrie and Luka duo continue to work or maybe improve in Dallas?
The day they acquired him, and I was asked this question, I said, I'm pretty skeptical about how this is going to work out. And that's how I felt all along. And clearly the numbers right there we just showed, it's really fascinating if you think about that. 8 games over 500 when only one of them plays. Like, that's really an interesting number you should pay attention to. Here's why I'm skeptical about it, but I'm not ready to just completely close the book on it because the sample size just isn't big enough. That's not enough time for two guys to figure each other out that are ball-dominant players. It just isn't. They didn't play together that much while Kyrie Irving was there at the end of the year. So you come into a training camp situation, you come in with a fresh start at the beginning of the year, you have a chance to build chemistry over the course of the season. But I'm skeptical because their games don't necessarily complement each other. Right? When you have guys that work in unison as star players, in tandem, in ball screen operations that work well together, a post player and a perimeter player, it works well together. You're talking about two basically ball-dominant players that are independently great of each other on the court. Not saying that necessarily it can be a bad thing if they can figure out the ebb and flow. The problem for this pairing is when Luka Doncic is on the floor, it's Luka Doncic's show all the time, first. And he takes his time. He takes his time getting up the floor. He takes his time when he gets it. He's going to probe. He's going to dribble a line. He's going to back guys down. And so now when Kyrie, if nothing happens and that ball goes to the other side of the floor, Kyrie Irving has a lot less time to operate now in that window to go do his thing. Because it's not like when they're out there together, it's a 50-50 proposition of who is going to be the alpha on this possession. It's like 80-20 Luka. That's a massive adjustment for Kyrie Irving. And I need to see more of it. I'm not saying it can't. They both have IIQs. They're elite-level offensive players. I'd like to see better leadership. I'd like to see them lay it on the line a little bit more defensively. I don't know if that's in their DNA, so maybe you surround them with those kind of guys. But let me see a larger body of work on the offensive end before I can determine if this will work or it won't.
What about you, Perk? Do you think it'll work in Dallas?
I know it will. I know it will. Now, are they going to win the title? No, I'm not betting on that, but I believe that they will get in the postseason with this duo. And we have to realize this. You know, starting the season off fresh with a training camp and, you know, being able to fill each other out, Jason Kidd being able to get a game plan together, knowing what he's coming into the season, knowing what he's dealing with, seeing a small sample size of it, and also having to have that conversation with Luka Doncic about dribbling the oxygen out the ball and trusting that others could get it done. That's the conversation that's going to need to be had when it comes down to Luka. Look, Luka is a great player. I'm taking nothing away from him, but he's going to have to learn to play off the ball. We have seen all the great duos for us at the guard and wing position that have got it done together, do it at a high level. We saw Steph adjust his game, being able to play off the ball, on the ball. We witnessed guys like, when Kyrie Irving was with LeBron James. They made it work. LeBron James adjusted his game even when he went to Miami with D. Wade. So when I think about Luka, he's going to have to do a bit of sacrificing, and he's still going to get his shot attempts. He's still going to get his assists. He's still going to get his rebounds. He's still going to fill up the stat sheet, but he's going to have that sacrifice and that energy within him to have that trust in Kyrie Irving like he did with a Jalen Brunson. Hell, Jalen Brunson is a guy that can play on the ball and off the ball. They made it work. They made it to a conference finals. Why can't these guys do the same? I believe that they will with a fresh start, a training camp, and Jay Kidd, I trust him to put those guys in position to be successful.
Well, you obviously want to have 2 stars in the modern NBA. You get one, what do you want? You want another one. That's great. But then, when the 2 stars actually can play together, that's the NBA. Exhibit A, Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. 2 stars who fit together beautifully. It's hard to find. We got a whole bunch of teams putting a whole bunch of effort and years and draft picks and money trying to find that mix where 2 stars can come together. Some people try 3, and sometimes it works. A lot of times it doesn't. You get those two that fit together, it's amazing. That's what they're going for in all these places. That's what they're looking for in Luka. They tried it with Porzingis. Did not work. They're trying it with Kyrie. It's going to be a struggle. I think Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are both excellent players, and I think they do work together, and they've had some success. But they're not Jokic and Murray. They're not LeBron and Kyrie. That's not what we've seen. So that's the challenge here. Can they get this to the level where these two guys fit together? And they're not doing it in March and April, in the middle of the season where both of them were in and out of injuries. So that's why, if you're the Mavericks, because I always say this, you don't go to a store and say, okay, this is a superstar store. I want a 6'9" power forward. Oh, no, I actually want a 6'3" combo guard. It's not like they had 7 different choices of who to trade for. They had Kyrie Irving. They could get Kyrie Irving. That's who they got. And they're going to try to jam it together. And maybe it'll work. Probably it won't, but maybe it'll work. And that's what they're going to try to do. But they're all chasing that glorious harmony. And it's very, very hard to get. And it's very, very, it takes a lot of time. There's a lot of misses. And I don't think this is obviously going to be a great fit. I don't think it's ultimately going to be that. But I also don't think you can look at what happened last season and decide that's the way it's going to be.
Perk, you made the great point that you believe it's going to work because great players figure it out. And Legs, you had the great point in terms of we don't have enough of a sample size to see exactly what this is going to look like. And Wendy, you're exactly right. Sometimes fits don't happen. My gut tells me it won't work for this reason. And I say this to kids all the time. You can have a strong will, but make sure you don't have a strong won't all the time. These two have a strong won't. If they don't want to do something, whether it's Luka Doncic or Kyrie Irving, you could be Mother Teresa. You're not going to make them do it if they don't believe it's in their best interest.
We got the free agency frenzy starting tomorrow. Wendy, what can you update us and get us ready for?
Yeah, we've been talking about James Harden having his opt-out deadline tonight. By the way, he doesn't have to do anything. If he just stands mute, he becomes a free agent. It's not an action he has to take. Lakers have some choices today. Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt, Mo Bamba. If they release, I don't think they're going to release Jared Vanderbilt, but if they release the other two, they could open up potentially to chase players with their mid-level exception. And there's going to be some other teams that have some choices with some partially guaranteed players. Yesterday, the Clippers released Eric Gordon, knocked $20 million off their books below the apron line, and it makes you wonder whether the Clippers have something cooking. So we'll see. Got my eye on the Clippers right now.
Is something
Got my eye on the Clippers right now.
You got your eyes on the Clippers.
It's interesting. Let's see. It's June 29th.
We don't have enough time. We don't have enough time. Anticipation.
I'll get with Wendy out in the hallway.
I just wonder why the Clippers save $100 million. They don't usually make
Save
money
$100
saving
million.
moves.
No big deal. All right.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.